I think as a human being, this right here, this topic, this question, this statement is such an important thing to understand. Not only understand, but to act on. Not only act on, but to have it in your subconscious mind. To believe it so strongly, to believe it so much so that to believing it is like breathing, right? To understand that as human beings, we need to have an abundant mindset. We need to have an abundant mindset. That is basically what a lot of successful entrepreneurs have, this type of mindset. An abundance mindset, the mindset of knowing, okay, here is a potential problem. What is the solution to this problem? And can this solution impact the community in such a positive way? One of the examples of this is, in Soweto, there's this famous place that all the tourists want to go there. Tourists want to go there. Why? Because of the Gota. Because of the famous Gota, the famous South African Gota, right? That if all the people rave about, right? The people rave about it so much that the tourists want to go there. Why do the tourists want to go there? Because the product itself has been given so much good PR, so much good marketing, so much good PR, so much good marketing by word of mouth, by people speaking good about it, by so many people speaking good about it. And what does that do? It brings more tourists into the hood, into the sector where a lot of other people be like, don't go there, but they go there to have a taste of that. And what will that bring? That will bring positivity to the environment. That will bring good feeling to the environment. That will bring good vibes to the environment, right? That will help the rand more. Just by doing that one thing. Being productive in the area that you're in, no matter how good the area is, quote unquote good, no matter how good the area is, or no matter how quote unquote bad the area is, you bring your positive energy, you push through that negative energy, and you push through and you bring your positive energy. And you bring it every single day, every single minute, every single hour. You bring it, right? And the reason why it's necessary for you as a 22-year-old now, the reason why it's so essential, so positive for you to have an abundant mindset, right? Is because your prefrontal cortex is still developing. Your prefrontal cortex is still developing, right? And so there is still so much you can deposit in your prefrontal cortex. So much that you can deposit in your prefrontal cortex. So much in what you're reading, so much in what you're learning, so much in the travels that you go through, so much in the human interactions that you are having, so much in the hobbies that you're doing, the interesting hobbies that you do that will, whether that be fishing, whether that be being a librarian, whether that be, I don't know, like understanding how a road is built, or understanding how a mechanical machine is built. Whatever you're learning right now will be so good for your prefrontal cortex, will be so good for your mind, will be so good for your potential, will be so good for your future moving forward, right? And so it is essential to just spend time learning. Do not scroll your phone all the time. Don't do that. Just learn. learn, 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 right? Learn. And if you have a business, put your all into that business, right? And then when you put your hours into your business, learn afterwards. Just learn. Just keep learning. Because your prefrontal cortex needs that, right? And your prefrontal cortex needs you to develop an abundant mindset right now. If you can develop an abundant mindset right now, and it stays there, and it's there in your mind, in your subconscious mind, that will be so positive for the world around you. That will be so positive for your country. That will be so positive for your city. That will be so positive for your area, the town that you're in, the suburb that you're in, the location that you're in, the hood that you're in. It will be a positive thing for the people around you. It will be a positive thing for your family. It will be a positive thing for your cousins, everything, right? For your children, for your grandchildren. It will just be a positive thing, right? Moving forward. When you deposit beliefs that will improve your life and act on those beliefs consistently, your life will be better at age 30. Your life will be so much better at age 30. When you deposit these beliefs, when you act on these beliefs, right? When you just focus on that positive energy, when you just focus on, right, what are the components of this road? How much cement does it take to plant on this road, right? How much coding will it take to have, this laptop be looking like this or that, right? How much robotics knowledge do I need to create a Tesla bot like Optimus? How much knowledge do I need to have to create a robot like Optimus, right? At Tesla, how much knowledge will I need? What do I need to learn? What are the engineering skills that are needed? Right? How do I use my hands to build it? Right? Even in sport, even at this age, right? Maybe at this age, right, you didn't achieve your dreams in sport, right? I would say still strive to improve in whatever sport. If it's netball, if it's hockey, even at this age, just strive to improve that skill that you have in sport. Strive to improve it, right? And play around, play in the tournaments around your area, play with the people. Maybe you might meet another young person, and you can mentor that young person, right? And develop sort of a mentor and mentee relationship with that young person in that sport. And that young person might go in and get into the EP trials and sign into a club. And that young person would be like, yo, this guy, when that young person makes it, they'll be like, yo, this guy was my mentor. He helped me through this and this and that and that and that. Right? It could be like some people think that is a far-fetched idea, that is a that will happen one times out of 100. Maybe this is the one time out of 100 where it will happen, right? Yeah, I get it. Most people will think, "Oh, that doesn't happen regularly. That will happen only once in 100 times." Maybe that is the once in 100 times that it is in this timeline, in this moment. Maybe that is, you know. Or it doesn't even have to be that. Maybe you've managed to influence certain youth, certain youngsters out of the addiction of smoking, out of the addiction of alcohol, out of the addiction of cocaine, out of these destructive addictions that they have as youngsters. Maybe you've managed to influence them through your positivity, through your focus, through your drive. Many you managed to influence them out of those destructive behaviors, out of those negative behaviors. That is very important. That is very essential. If you've influenced a young person out of that, you have basically saved a life. You have basically prevented someone from becoming a criminal. You have basically prevented someone from causing destruction in society, having a negative impact in society. You've turned that person around. This is what certain beliefs and certain mindsets can change. This is what the impact of certain beliefs and certain mindsets can have around people, bro. It can. This is what it can do. That's the potential it can bring, at 22, God willing, there's so much life ahead of you. So much growth that has to happen. And you need to just keep learning. You need to just keep moving forward and keep going towards that. Going towards the things you love, right? And just the understanding of abundance in itself. Understanding that there is so much more to be had, right? Understanding that there is so much more to be had, and that's why for me, the concept of being jealous or envious, being jealous or envious when it comes to resources. Now, being jealous or envious when it comes to human dynamics, that's different. But when it comes to being jealous or envious when it comes to resources, it's not a right thing. It's a scarcity mindset. It's a satanic way of viewing life. To sit there and look at another person and be like, why does this person drive this car? Why does this person have this and that? They don't deserve this and that. They shouldn't be having this and that. I'm speaking from a standpoint of resources, of the materialistic, or the other things that they have. I'm speaking it from that point of view mainly. Because if you're looking at it from that point of view mainly, then that's not a good way to look at it. It's not a good way to approach life. It's not a good way to view life. Because you thinking that you as a person, you can have that. You can have the same thing that you seeing that person have. You can have it. The question is, are you willing to, do you have what it takes? Are you willing to put in the hours that are needed, right? Now, the person that you're jealous of, maybe they've gotten that thing through dubious means. Maybe they've gotten that thing through very bad means. Maybe they've gotten that thing through satanic means, right? Maybe they stole a lot of government money or government resource and they have that thing. But if they got it that way, then it's bad to be jealous of them. Why is it bad to be jealous of them? It's bad because eventually that thing of theirs won't last. Eventually they will get the punishment. Eventually the negativity will come through their lives because they didn't get that material thing, that resource, in a positive way. If you do not get something in the proper principle, the proper if you do not obtain something the proper way, the right way, or according to the law, or according to the principles of life, the principles of God, the principles of the Bible, there will be repercussions for that. The repercussions might not happen today. The consequences might take 5 years, might take 6 years. But there will be consequences for you taking that route, taking that bad route, taking that evil route. There will be consequences to that. There will be. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. Right? And so it is important to look at the people who've obtained it the right way. Alright. And I know, contrary to belief, there are certain people that believe that billionaires do atrocious things, or they've done bad things to get to where they are. And there is some truth to that. There's 50% truth to that. Right? Not every billionaire has done a bad thing or a negative thing to get those billions. And that's a fact. There are so many billionaires that have contributed positively to society in order to have the billions that they have. Right? They've created such revolutionary products and they've been compensated for it. And those products have helped humanity and helped us as a collective. So much so, because of the value that they've created, right? And they've gotten to where they are today. And they did it in a positive manner. They did it through hard work. They did it through overcoming all the obstacles that they faced in their early days. They overcame all the obstacles that they were facing daily, all the obstacles that they were facing, within their families, within their environments, what I'm saying? So, everything that is good, there is bad. Everything that is bad, there is good. That's just how the world works. That's just how the world works, bro. Like, it is what it is, and that's just how it is, And there's just so much abundance in this world. It's just about how your mind is towards it. How is your mind towards the world? How is your mindset towards everything? How is your mindset towards your creator? How is your mindset towards yourself as a human being? How is your mindset towards yourself as a human being? Do you respect yourself? Do you love yourself? Right? And when you look at what you do in a week, when you look at what you do in a week, and you really, really analyze yourself, you really, really analyze what you're doing in these 7 days, then you can be honest with yourself and say, do I really love myself? If I say I love myself, are my actions showing that I love myself? Right? Are my actions showing that I love myself? Right? Now, I'm not saying that you have to be perfect in every aspect of your life. No. There will always be room for improvement in every aspect of your life, right? There's always room for improvement in every aspect of your life. But is there one aspect where you're paying attention to and you're making sure that, okay, I have to get this right? I need to get this right. And you have to get it right. You have to live in your purpose as a human being. You have to do what the Most High has created you to do. For me, that is the number one thing. The number one thing for you as a human being is to do what the Most High has created you to do. is to do what God has created you to do, right? Because essentially no amount of money, no amount of friends, no amount of family can fulfill you. The thing that will fulfill you the most is doing what you were created to do. That will fulfill you the most in this life. Otherwise, if you put your energy into other things, yes, you will experience success. Yes, you may be happy. You may be happy. You'll probably be happy for 5 years, 4 years, but eventually, when you've experienced everything there is to experience in this life, there is a limit. There is a limit to highs. There is a limit to highs. I'm talking about inward. Inward, when you reach highs, there is a limit inward. You experience so many highs, that inwards, the feeling is no longer the same anymore because you've reached so many highs. That is why there needs to be something greater than your human self. There needs to be something greater than your mind. There needs to be something greater than this world. There needs to be something greater than this illusion that is here in front of us. Right? And that's just it. That's just how it is, you know. And the question is, does your subconscious believe that there is abundance, right? Does you need to ask yourself, does your subconscious really believe that there is abundance? So how to tell that is, what are the things that you are repeating? What are the things that you are repeating over and over again? Right? And if you are repeating something, then that will give you that answer. Whereas you'll be like, no, the subconscious doesn't believe that. And so now you need to, starting today, you need to take action and take action towards working on that belief and having that abundance stick into the subconscious mind and having it there. Watching content that will reaffirm it, doing things, saying things, doing things, watching things that will reaffirm that abundance. Saying things, doing things, watching things that will reaffirm that abundance in your subconscious mind. And these are the elements that will make it stick in here, and make it stick in there. That yes, my subconscious mind does believe in abundance. And that is how you change that. That is how you change the direction of that, right? And the reality is that takes a lot of hard work. It takes hard work to become a new person. It takes hard work to become an abundant person. It takes hard work to change a certain mindset fully, right? You can acknowledge that this is the right mindset to have. You acknowledge that that is the right mindset that is needed. You acknowledge that that is the right mindset that will take me to the next level. You acknowledge that that is the mindset that will completely change the trajectory of my life, right? But it is a difficult thing to do. Why is it a difficult thing to do? It's because of life itself. Life brings so many distractions, right? You might be dealing with a certain crisis in your life, right? You might be dealing with a certain crisis in your life that disrupts these plans. You're dealing with a certain crisis in your life that disrupts these plans. All right, fine. Deal with that crisis, right? For however long. Make sure while you're dealing with that crisis, make sure your mind is still set on, yo, I need to transform my mind into this. I need to transform my mind into this. I need to be thinking about this more often. Yes, I will deal with the crisis that my family is facing. I will deal with the crisis that I am facing right now. But my mind, as soon as I'm done, or as soon as that is alleviated, my mind needs to look at this direction. It has to look towards this direction. And that is essential. That is super, super, super essential to do right now. It is essential to do that right now. Right? Because it is one thing to know that there is abundance and believe. Now the actions need to align with that belief. It's one thing to know something, and now the actions need to align with that belief. And so how will you make sure that those actions align with that belief? By doing what you need to do every single day. By doing the actions that need to happen every single day. That is how your mind, that is how you will align with that belief, right? And one of the greatest challenges is becoming that abundant person. That is one of the greatest challenges. One of the greatest challenges is becoming that abundant person. Having that sort of mindset, developing that sort of mindset. That is one of the greatest challenges. And that is why it's so essential to take consistent action necessary to become that abundant person. Take the consistent action necessary to become that abundant person. So that when you look 5 years on, 6 years on at your life, you will be proud of the hard work. You will be proud of those hours, those long hours. You will be proud of the application of just sticking to it when it didn't look like it would have happened, or it didn't look like it was gonna be positive for you, but you stuck through it, right? And you're gonna look on that year and you're gonna be proud of yourself, and that's just what it's all about. Being a better person, being a better version of you, improving yourself. And that is just so essential. So essential. So God bless you, and I pray that you stay focused. I pray that you continue to stay positive, continue to look at ways of improving yourself. Continue to look for ways to improve yourself, because believe it or not, your creator wants that for you. Believe it or not, that's what your creator wants. And so develop that abundant mindset. Stay cool.